This is the third game from the list. The random is picked that is from Jam 13. Considering how many games are on the list, quite a statistical anomaly. Anyway, this is Megumu Space Gallery's visual novel, which is probably good because based on my performance on the last game I played, I'm not there enough to play an actual game right now. Somewhere on Yokai Mountain, I couldn't test my volume levels with the title screen because there was no volume, so I hope I turned it down good enough. Long before a certain market popped up. Hey. What's the occasion, Shimada? You got a positively glowing look on your face. That's an... What's your last name again? Is that an uppercase I or an L? No, because an uppercase L has a line on the bottom, so your name has two I's in it at the beginning. How do you pronounce that? Aizunamaru. Let's go with that. Oh, Aizumaru. You wouldn't believe this, but I believe I have in my possession a powerful item for the market. Oh, and what would that be? It's... this! I found this near Gimbu Ravine. At first, I had no clue as to what it was. But after I tinkled around with it, I realized just how incredible this Shikigami is. Shikigami? Yes, you know how Shikigami have animal-like forms? For some reason, correct? For example, that nine-tailed fox that belongs to that Kappa yokai. Or her own Shikigami, the cat with twin tails. Uh-huh. Go on. Well, this one may just look like a box, but it's even more sophisticated than any animal Shikigami I've ever seen. Interesting. Why is that? Why, indeed. Well, for starters, you don't have to speak to it to give it commands. You just... Shimada steadily tapped her finger on the various different keys. After a final decisive clack, the screen went white for a moment before showing paragraphs of text. How is this thing being powered? And the Shikigami returns you an answer, which you can read at your own pace. That is rather sophisticated. Right, I'm still figuring this thing out, but if we were to sell this... Just imagine Shikigamis that can be used by even the lowest of yokai. We can make a market out of this. Indeed, we could. By the way, could I take a closer look at that Shikigami? It's all yours, Aizunamaru. Yeah, there's some characters' last names who I never bothered to remember, and this is apparently, you can tell this is that one. Shimada made a motion that was perhaps a bit too forceful for the fragility of the device she was holding. Luckily, Megumu managed to catch the device in her hands before anything more unfortunate could happen to it. Thanks. By the way, computers like these may look sturdy, but they're actually quite fragile. Computers? Alright, I should probably tell you. I saw a Kappa on a stroll near Gimbu Ravine yesterday, and she was holding something that looked exactly like a Shikigami. She was mumbling things about computers and other sorts of Kappa jargon. Wait, so this Shikigami is actually just another Kappa invention? Well, not quite. I've overheard from Notori that these computers originate from the outside world. It's just that her and her buddies have been taking a crack at these things for the longest time now. Wait, so... you knew this whole time that it wasn't the Shikigami? Megumu could only shrug her shoulders in response, a light smile gracing her expression. Well, not that I blame you if you didn't know. Only a handful in Genzokyo know exactly what a computer is. Even I find myself at a loss when it comes to such devices. Anyway, it's no lost cause. We could probably still find some special occasion to sell this. Consider it a warm-up for the actual market. As you say. If possible, perhaps we could give this thing up in 3 days' time. Huh? What's with that specific number? Well, I've been doing no small number of calculations recently. There'll be a slight solar eclipse in 3 days. So the mountains will be looking quite sunsetty during that time. Quite the cinematic scene for the handling of a new Shikigami. I thought we just established that this thing isn't a Shikigami. Well, technically not, but the difference wouldn't matter to some low-level yokai. We could sell it just fine and easy that way. And you could gain back a bit of power, too. Man, the more I hear characters use the phrase low-level yokai, the more I think maybe Seija wasn't so bad after all. Alright, whatever you say, so in 3 days' time. Yes, I'll be keeping this for now, just to keep it relatively intact. Huh? But... What is it? Shimada opened her mouth to speak, but as if realizing she was about to say something foolish, closed it again. Never mind, it's all yours. Thanks, don't forget, 3 days' time. Right. The entrance to Rainbow Dragon Cave. What's the occasion, Aizunomaru? You got a big dumb smile on your face. Oh, was it that obvious? Anyway, why'd you call me to the entrance? If it's for anything other than a duel, I'll... It's not for a duel, I have something interesting to show you instead. Huh? Himamushi, what do you think this is? What? Oh, an iron ore. Which I can't mine, because I don't think you can mine an iron ore with a gold pickaxe. It's that shit. Well, it is made of metal, but it's made out of other materials too. The heck, did you go mining for ores yourself or something? Not really, I just so happened to receive this from Shimada. Anyway, we have 3 days to figure this thing out. What, do you need me to break it open or something? No, that would actually make it cease to function. Suppose it would be easier if I just showed you what it does. Megumu began to tinker with the computer. As she did so, Momoyo stared at the strange device intently. Any hoozle, that's one weird-looking ore you got there. Got a load of bumps and stuff. Very strange indeed, but I hear that people in the outside world use this ore a lot. Ha! For what? It looks too hideous for practical use. That's true, but to be fair, there's a lot of complex processes going on within it that require it to be shaped this way. Man, what a freaky ore. Right? Finally, after a couple minutes, Megumu managed to find the power button. With a click, the computer screen began to glow. There's a miniature thermonuclear battery inside of it. Whoa, that is one freaky ore. Alright, let's see here. So this thing glows if you press it a certain way. It's 3:46 in the morning? What are you two doing? Supposedly, and some strange symbols have shown up as well. Megumu began to press the keys on the keyboard, but to no avail. The screen remained static. How strange. Shimada was able to use this just fine. So do we have to break it after all? No, I don't think breaking it will get to it. But if so, then how? As Megumu continued to press random keys, Momoyo was off to the side, fidgeting. Noticing the mouse attached to the computer, Momoyo picked it up. Yeah, I can't make heads or tails of this. A symbol moved. What? Himamushi, could you pass that? Wordlessly, Momoyo dropped the mouse into Megumu's hand, who then proceeded to kind of, put it on the ground and, move it amongst the rocks. Thanks, I think this moving symbol has something to do with how the ore works. After a few more minutes of tinkering, Megumu prompted Momoyo to take a look at the screen again. So if you move this symbol around using this device, and if you click the device while the symbol is hovering over something, something different will show up. Huh? I suppose that clicking on different symbols will cause different things to appear. In this case, what is this exactly? I see a thingy over there. It looks like a paintbrush. Oren, stop. You're not good yet. Stop it. Yell at her to stop and she doesn't stop, but as soon as I get up for 5 seconds, she immediately looks at me and goes, oh yeah, I need to stop doing that. Yeah, you do, cat. Yeah, you do. Oh, I see. Perhaps this is to draw things onto the ore. Let me try it out first. I'm a master of drawing, you see. Yeah, you only say that? Cosine, you're the only one who's been drawing all the ability cards. Hey, I have pride in my artistic ability, you know. Whatever, let's see that artistic ability in action, eh? You want me to draw something in paint with a mouse? don't go over the line. There we go! See, I'm a master at art. Here you are. Anyway, let me draw something too. Ah, try not to use too much force. Don't feel like bringing this to the Kappas to repair today. No it would thanks, ma'am. We're doing this again. Okay, we're not. A while later. Do I make that the thumbnail? Why not? Well, now we know who's the better artist between us. It certainly ain't me. Yes, it's for sure neither of us. Hey, I did think your art had a rather unique flair to it. And yours looked like a bag of shit. They both laughed. I ain't cut out for this artistic stuff anyway. Fighting's the name of the game for me. As with me, though this thing with the ability cards has made me consider a career shift. To being an artist? Possibly. You serious? No. I'm a great Tengu, first and foremost. Abandoning my duty would be. Well, never mind that. That whole thing today was just my work break. I'll probably drop by tomorrow for another one, if that's fine with you. Ah! Well, sure, anytime. Thanks a lot. Without anything further to add, Megumu silently rusted out of her wings. And with the speed and elegance befitting of a Tengu, she took off, heading for the summit of Yokai Mountain. The following day. You. Master Izumaru, I'm back. Welcome back, Tsukasa. How did it go? It went swimmingly. The client said they could make it in 2 days' time. Great to hear. Unwittingly, Megumu let out a yawn. Huh? Have you not gotten a proper sweep? Perchance? You can't just fucking say perchance. I guess. Guess I didn't really. A great Tengu like myself has to manage a lot of things after all. Huh? After you were checking the quality of the client's product last night? Yeah, let's go with that. Just tinkering with it. I do care quite a lot about customer satisfaction, you see. Right. Well, besides that, are there any jobs left for me? No, not currently. You're mostly free until the client arrives. I see. If that's all, I'll be off now. Take care. With a flick of her tail, Tsukasa slipped away into a nearby grove. I wonder, does watching videos for 5 hours count as checking the quality? How do you have internet? Later that day. Yeah, looks like you didn't sleep much. I won't have fun fighting you in that state, you know. Do I really seem that tired? Anyway, I messed around with the aura a bit last night, hence my weariness. Wow! Izumaru, are you becoming a rock lover like me? It's like the 5th time I've read that word and it still hasn't clicked. Not really. Except that this aura has a lot more functionality than I could have imagined. For example, here is my magic shop. To anchor, you can't see the rest of the thumbnails. It's like a moon. This ore not only lets you draw on it, but also displays moving pictures. Huh? Like those reflective gemstones? Well, this ore seems to be generating its own light, rather than relying on other light sources. I'm glad that the cats feel the need to be extremely loud right now, in a game that a lot of times doesn't have volume. It's great. Oren! Not you. I can't tell. All I can see is the tail. One of the cats. Additionally, it doesn't seem to reflect its surrounding, but its own custom pictures. It's sort of like a glowing painting in that sense. Man, this ore's getting weirder and weirder by the minute. By the way, the symbol we use to point and click on other symbols is apparently called a cursor. Some of you even call it a mouse. You can use the cursor to pick what pictures you want the ore to display. Huh, neat. Since you're just seeing this for the first time, you can pick out something that catches your eye. Huh. When Leo leaned in to get a better look at the thumbnails on the screen, her brows twitched. A moment or two later, she pointed at one particular thumbnail.
Hey, those people look a bit like us.
Megumu glanced over the thumbnail being pointed at, scrutinizing it. They do indeed, so we'll go with this one.
Yeah, why not? I don't know what these pictures are about anyway.
Alright, booting up. Wish I had an umakata. I'm a great Tengu and I manage others at my job. Today I'm approached by 3 of my co-workers. The first is a plucky photographer Tengu whose newspaper had questionable quality. But through her writing might be a bit cheap, she does serve as good intel. Also, despite her being older than me, she's fun to tease. Is she? The next person is an ambitious marketeer who wants to gain back her godhood. She's got a huge ego and says that she'll relinquish ownership over everything. Well, whatever that means to her, that's none of my business. And the third person is a Kitsune who acts as my assistant. I know she's out to backstab me, but having her around is plenty fun by itself. Still though, I'm becoming a bit bored of her. If only there was another coworker who was more fun than these 3. Someone like a giant umakari. She's sure she smells a bit of toxins dirt because he digs deep underground, but isn't that just another great part about her? From a mile away I can hear her crunching on rocks and debris. She really thinks those are tasty, huh? Maybe I'll try those out someday. But I still have loads of paperwork to go through. So it's back to the great Tengu's desk I go. Maybe some other time, great Umakade. That was certainly something.
Yeah. What was that music coming out of this ore?
Good question. Didn't old computers need separate speakers? We have those too? Some kind of song, I suppose. It sounded rather catchy.
Really? I got a headache listening to that.
Different people, different tastes. This is probably what the outside world listens to.
The outside world?
Oh, have I not mentioned it before already? This ore originated from there.
Man, that explains why this ore is so weird. It came from the place with all the cars and stuff.
Himamushi, do you know what a car is?
Well, I heard that these giant metal monsters people only use to move around again. Why don't they do something more fun with them? I want to see people crashing into each other with their cars.
That'll certainly be interesting to watch. They continue to watch all manner of strange videos. The following day.
Alright, I've blessed the Shikigami.
Wonderful. Hopefully tomorrow goes off without a hitch. I'm sure the client will take a liking to the ore. Computer.
Huh? Is Miss Moeo's lifestyle getting to the point where you're shaking things for rocks? Or this thing was a Shikigami, then it becomes a computer, and now a rock. Poor thing.
In my defense, comparing it to a rock was the easiest way for Himamushi to understand what it does.
Wait, you were showing the computer to Miss Moeo?
Yep. She seemed pretty intrigued by it.
What else did you discover about the computer? Like, does it do anything else besides give information?
Well, you can draw on it too.
That's it?
You can also play shogi on it without the need for physical pieces.
That sounds confusing.
It does, but it works.
Say, I'd like to see that computer again.
Well, be my guest. Megumu turned the computer to face Chimata. And now the cat's meowing.
You said you could draw stuff on this thing, right?
Indeed, but it's all limited to the screen, so I can't produce any ability cards this way. If only there was a device that could take the screen and print it in physical media. But I don't have a printer. I only have speakers, the screen, and a mouse. You having fun there? All 3 of the cats, they're doing something, huh?
Yep, makes sense.
Setting the computer down on a flat piece of work, Shimada took the mouse and began to scribble.
Also, the cards would look even worse if you drew them this way.
Megumu nodded sagely. Well, I do think the ability cards production has done wonders for my drawing skills.
You don't say.
In all honesty, Shimada couldn't argue against that because that was actually true. Shimada just continued to draw in silence. I don't get to see any of their pictures. Take a look at this, Himamushi.
What's that?
I found that you can play a number of games on this ore. Take this one, for instance. In this game, you shoot at the enemy until you or they die. You know you can play Minecraft on a Raspberry Pi? I've done that. It was something. Huh, that sounds cool. But it's not in real life, right? It's just all on that little glowing thing. The screen. Like, yeah, whatever it's called, it's only on there, right? Right. Then I ain't interested. I'm only interested in getting into big ass all out fights, not tiny stupid ones. Ah, speaking of which, Aizunamaru, we haven't dueled in forever. Or at least not since you started helping out that weakling god. Yes. And? And well, I hate it. I hate that you're just showing me this lump of ore nowadays. Granted, it is kind of intriguing. But where the old days of sparring go, Aizunamaru? Is there such a problem with just chatting about whatever? But fine, if battle's what you want, come at me. Gah! Now that's more like it. Actually, let's throw in something else for good measure. Maybe glanced over at the computer, which still had the game open. You know how we usually just fight wherever, whenever, right? Huh? Well, yeah, of course. I'll propose a little something. I'll play one round of this game here. If I clear the boss, then we'll take our spar outside, where there's a clear night sky. But if I get hit even once during the game, we'll just have to do battle in these caverns. I know you know these caverns inside out. Heh, I'll be cheering you on then. Much appreciated. Play the game? What do you mean play the game? Huh? This is a game now? This is a game. This is a game. Okay. The mouse is on the screen. Need to move that. There we go. So I need to not get hit once. I'm doing now. There's those rainbow rocks and giant red things. Those don't kill me. I assume. Did I win? I win. Yeah. Hey, I didn't take you for someone so unconfident in your strength that you don't dare to do battle outside.
No, you're right. I'll still be taking your ass either way.
Heh. This'll be a long night.
And a fun one.
Finally, the awaited day.
That lousy Tango, she totally pulled a scam on me. Now, Mr. Master, Izumaru may seem like she's a type, but she seldom lies outright. Yeah, but first she takes that cool computer for herself, and then...
What's this about a cool computer?
Mr. Izumaru. Hey, tomorrow, yo.
Shimada walked right up to Megumu and tiptoed as best as she could, attempting to stare directly in her face.
Where on earth were you? This is an hour after our scheduled meeting time.
Sorry, some complications arose.
Regarding?
The computer.
Did it break?
Yeah. Despite being a god, Shimada felt as though she was about to go to Higan. I'm only late because I brought it to Notori's to get fixed.
So, is it fixed?
Yep. Shimada felt as though she had been halted by the Higan ferryman.
Well, that's a relief. Wait, but does that mean I have to bless it again?
Do you? Assume a god's power would stay relatively intact on an object?
And then I guess the better question to ask would be, how badly damaged was the computer?
Well, it was reduced to a pile of scrap metal overnight.
What?
Mikasa let out a giggle.
How did that even happen?
Well, Himushi and I had a sparring session since we hadn't done one of those in a while. I think Peter just so happened to get caught in the crossfire.
You and that Umakade. I swear. Well, since someone has so graciously decided to mess up the computer to the point of no recognition, I'm going to bless this again just to be safe.
Shimada stretched out her arms expectantly, and Megumu heaved the computer onto them. Then, with another pout and slight curse in her breath, Shimada walked off to do godly things. The sight of a small god heaving around a heavy brick-like computer was truly enchanting, to say the least. Say, Tsukasa, how much do you want to bet that Shimada will play around with the computer a bit more first?
About 5 yen.
Really, I'd bet the whole ability card market if I were you.
But we haven't opened it yet. Are you saying that's going to go well or poorly?
Well, I've got a good feeling about it, is all. With that, before the ability card market opened, a small test product was sold. Now the difference in value between a single product and a whole market is obviously enormous. But the story of all about how that particular market would be for another time. There you go. Less than 30 minutes. Will I make that drawing I did the thumbnail? Probably. It's over this, bike.